We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 530. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, as always, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how you feeling tonight, sir?
I have the biggest migraine, but that's not stopping me from talking wrestling and looking back on the career of one that is John Cena. Ba, ba, ba. This doesn't help. This doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
I was gonna say,
I,
I
I
I
gotta stop.
appreciate your cojones, sir, but seriously, don't kill yourself over this. It's not worth it. Also, but speaking of being worth it, also joining us this week, he is an undisputed scholar, and he is also your current Scholars of Wrestling world champion. He is Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how are you feeling tonight, sir?
Pretty good. Had to take a week off to bask in the glory of of surpassing the wheel, making the wheel my bitch in order to retain my championship. However, it's the end of the road for Mister John Cena. So figured the hiatus must come to an end because we must talk about one of the greats.
Yes, history will be made this weekend, but probably by the time you see this episode. But before we get to all that, last but certainly not least, joining us this week is the one and only Scholar Charlie. Scholar Charlie, how are we feeling tonight? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired are you right now?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how tired am I right now? I'm at about 7, maybe. I can make it through this show. I'll be a good boy. We have to
As long
honor
as
the
you keep
life and
spinning that,
times.
as long as you keep spinning that title like a rubbing your nipple, yeah, I think you're gonna be okay.
I would suggest sitting up
Feel it.
though.
Sitting up is overrated.
If we get flagged on YouTube for some reason, I'm blaming all of you. But be that as it may, of course, we do need to talk about the legacy of John Cena, what we're going to be seeing this Saturday, and where it's all going to go. Because there's been a lot of interviews this past week. This really seems like the closing of chapters and the ending of an era. But before we get to all that, we gotta see what's on the other side of the wrestling world. Because we also got another major show from AEW. We got Winter is Coming, and
Gross.
there were a lot of highlights from this show as well, starting with the crowning of new women's tag team champions. The first ever AEW women's tag team champions were declared. We got the Babes of Wrath defeating the Timeless Love Bombs, and yeah, Charlie, much to his delight, did indeed call it from the very start. Care to
Yes, I
gloat,
did.
sir?
Um,
It
I don't have to gloat.
got him from
I'm
laying
just
down.
super happy that my Babes of Wrath won the women's championship. I was lucky enough to see them in person with you guys, and I'm super happy. That win made me very happy that the
and
Babes of
and it's
Wrath are the tag team champions.
and it's one of those things like you should have known because the way they were building this whole tournament around Tony and Mina, of course they weren't going to win. We should know better in our minds that if they're building the tournament around somebody, they're not going to win it. I thought that we were in a different mind space. I thought that AEW was going to do it differently than WWE. But it's like sometimes you need to get back into your WWE mind space because that is a WWE booking move where you base the tournament around somebody the entire time and then switch lanes and go to the other team. I'm not saying that I don't like the move. Babes of Wrath, great choice for inaugural tag team champions. But it's like if you had told me in the build up to that match,
You guys all
the
thought they were going
semi
to be a joke.
no in the
I didn't think they were a
semifinals
joke.
in the semifinals in the last four teams they were the fourth team. They were the team not getting any buzz out of this whatsoever. You had Sky Blue and Julia Hart. You had Marina and Megan Bain, and you had Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. No one was thinking about the Babes of Wrath. So of course they come in and win the whole damn thing.
I was always thinking about the Babes of Wrath.
I
Charlie, you got to
imagine you
stop
did.
spinning the title when you're saying shit like this. It sends a dirty message to people watching the show. I
It br-
was thinking about the Babes of
The
Wrath.
whole
Oh,
time.
the whole and now he's actually
oh
doing it.
dear.
Jesus Christ.
Quick, Tarek, save this segment. What do you think of the tag tournament?
Oh, I thought the tag tournament was very good. It was a great tournament all around. I on this show praised this tournament and just how the women's tag team championships actually felt like a real prize that people were wanting to go for, to the point where we're having like a Christmas street fight and fatal four ways to earn that street fight stipulation, and using the women's war blood and guts. I almost said war games,
I
but
caught
I caught
that.
myself. I caught myself. Uh, we got the women's blood and guts actually having the tag teams in that match actually be like, okay, they're all in here at once, and there's even more people involved, but we're throwing the story of the women's tag team tournament involved, like uh having these stories of, as Brian would put it, like we were thinking that at least three out of the four of us, possibly five out of the four out of the five of us, if we including Pete, we with that story, we thinking that they were building up for Tony and Mina to win, especially with how that blood and guts match ended up. But in the end, I'm glad Harley and Willow won. They are actually a great inaugural tag team champions. Um, and one thing, it actually gets uh, Tony and Mina out and giving them to go for singles titles down the line. But overall, yeah, great tournament. Great stories told in that tournament to actually make the titles feel like a prize worth fighting for, putting your bodies on the line for. And oh no, I'll give it a thumbs up all
And on
around.
this episode too, we also that wasn't the only tournament that we got some serious action from. For the second time just this year, I feel like our group chats were blowing up for another Kyle Fletcher match after even in defeat. Speedball Mike Bailey beat Kyle Fletcher, but yeah, another two guys who've just been putting in so much work and make really establishing the Continental Classic as something that is can't be missed.
And it's one of those things like even going back to Collision. Okay, Collision at that point in time had my match of the tournament between Mox and Takeshita. That that was my match of the tournament based off of Saturday, and immediately Wednesday comes and Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Mike Bailey just go ahead and they're like, I'm gonna take that. That was fantastic. Uh, the fact that this is the first tournament where it feels like anybody could win at any time. This is the first version of this tournament where there was nobody who came out and you were like, oh, this person's going to lose every match that they're in. The second one you had Daniel Garcia. The first one, I think you had multiple people who didn't get any points. But this one, it's like it's fair game. It's like we know who the finals are going to be, but other than that, everything else is up in the air. And I'm enjoying every second of this tournament. This is the first one where it's like I'm locked in. This is the first tournament, and they're doing a great job this year.
And you get a little man biting a Japanese man in the dick.
Yes, that is
Good old
We
family
knew that couldn't go
entertainment.
without saying.
that is we had the dick chomp. Yes, we did.
I just had to point that out because yes, I'm going to just continue the awesomeness, talking about the awesome match that was Speedball Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher. My God. I think Brian said it on our chat that these two guys are basically future main eventers down the line. Like this is going to be another match that's going to be for the title in the near future in the a couple of years. And I'm just looking forward to it because I'm just watching this and I'm just going, is this going to be the first match in this tournament that's going to end in a draw? And
That
as someone who
completely
kind of
fucked
does
your
not
mind up.
want that to happen, I don't want any draws on this in this tournament unless it happened already and I missed it because
No, it didn't.
I have okay because I try to watch Collision. I really want to watch Collision this weekend because you got Claudio Castagnoli versus Takeshita. Wing.
Big meaty men slapping
Laugh
meat.
at me.
My Claudio and Takeshita. Yes, please. That is a Cloud9 match for me. Oh, yes. And with this one, I love the Continental Classic. I,
Lost your
Uh,
volume, man.
okay.
oh
Yeah,
shit,
we
you lost my.
momentarily, only momentarily.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you just phased
Yeah, we
out.
lost your volume.
Oh no.
All right, you're back.
There you
What
are.
is happening?
I
You will.
accidentally hit the wire on my microphone. That was on me.
Oh,
But
I thought you were
let's
just losing your train of thought after thinking about Takeshita on Claudio action.
please. I'm gonna be dreaming about that tonight. Um I think it's and I probably think the match itself will surpass my dreams wholeheartedly. But yeah, let's see. What was I saying before you guys lost me?
You were
Um,
just hyping up how much you were looking forward to Takeshita and Claudio. In all seriousness,
I think the last thing I said was this, I'll just keep bringing this back. I wish this tournament was for something more than just a title. I wish there was for I wish this was like yes, they already have their equivalent of their Money in the Bank with the Casino Battle Royal, but I, I wish this is something for like a championship, like how the G1 is for a title match at Wrestle Kingdom. This would get a title shot at I don't want to say World's End because that's where the semifinals and the finals are. What's the first pay-per-view of the year for AEW?
I think it's Revolution.
that
Sure,
sounds about right.
have it be for Revolution. Just have it be for a pay-per-view, one of the big pay-per-views coming up. But I've already spoken many times on how I feel about them having four mid-card titles, but it's not stopping the fact that this tournament is amazing. I love the C2. I just we're like I think we're halfway now.
Yeah,
More or less.
So I just can't wait to see what this second half is. We have Moxley continuing to lose his sanity with this from this tournament, continuing the for Brian's sakes inevitable turn with the Death Riders
it's
on
happening. I promise.
I honestly, at this point, sir, I want it to happen just to basically be like, it's continue with the G1. You have to reach that climax somewhere.
And when
And you were just
it comes, it will be glorious.
wording is just makes this even better.
Raising.
Oh
Right.
boy.
But yes, there's that. I even like now going back to the Jack Perry Okada match. I like that because Jack Perry is being Darby Allin's replacement. Um, that he has now a hard story going in. It's like, okay, he has the disadvantage. Can he work his way to make that an advantage? But considering how this match ended, I kind of doubt it. But I like Jack Perry. I know some people don't. I actually think he's going to do a good job in this tournament, and I just can't wait to see what the second half of this tournament brings us.
For sure. I'm definitely I do like Jack Perry. I think still brings a lot to the table, recent history notwithstanding. Now is the time for moving on. Now is the time for continuing on in all aspects. And of course, in the main event, we've got Samoa Joe choking out Eddie Kingston. A little something for the whole family. Everyone gets a little something. And as I predicted, yeah, Samoa Joe wins. The story continues on.
Straightforward. Straightforward match. It did what it needed to do.
And yeah, there was a after that there was a post-match promo with Bryan Danielson hyping up Eddie Kingston. But like I said on the group chat, I wasn't surprised this happened because I personally believe the big money match out of this whole storyline, outside of just whoever Joe defends the title against, is going to be Eddie Kingston versus Hook. I feel like that's what we're going to be building towards for World's End.
Right.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that seems the most obvious. Sometimes simple booking is the best, and Hook versus Eddie Kingston in this at this stage in time is the move for World's End. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make Tarek happy here. I think Hook needs to beat him. If you're going to,
I'm gonna make Tarek happy also. I will also agree that Hook needs to beat him.
because if Hook turns and you do all this stuff in the background, like I never left the ops. I all them bringing in Hobbs was me. I told them to do that, and then you're just gonna turn around and the first time you fight, you're gonna lose. Can't happen.
No, the spotlight
But
is on him now. He needs to win.
yeah, so it's Hook versus Kingston. I think they're actually starting a storyline where Eddie's gonna go off the deep end. Eddie's if they're having Bryan Danielson prop him up off screen in promos and prop him up and being like you could do it, you could do it, and then he loses to Hook, and then I can see Eddie Kingston going off the deep end, and we can do something with that instead of Eddie Kingston just being the hardcore brawler from Brooklyn. Give him a personality change.
I've got four words for you in regards to all of that. Bryan Danielson training montage.
Oh
Oh,
boy, are we gonna see Eddie Kingston chasing chickens?
Uh, Tarek, you tell me, are we going to see Eddie Kingston get chasing chickens?
I was gonna say, so you're just gonna have Eddie Kingston be the Maxine Dupree for AEW, and Danielson is gonna be his Natalia.
Sure, let's put it that way.
I
yeah,
mean,
why
you
not?
see, I mean, we've seen the promos, we've seen those video packages on the W on Raw of Natalia training her. So is that what you're wanting to go for with this?
I was more going a more 80s 80s Rocky training montage. Like, you know that if he wants to, Tony Khan can license something from Survivor or something, just like some random 80s training montage music. And it'll be like, instead of going dark and gritty like Maxine Dupree, just go full 80s training montage.
Gonna need
He's
a montage,
Oh.
you say
montage.
Survivor, so it's like, what are they gonna end up now just on a tropical island and he's gonna do these training montages and you're just gonna hear the
No,
Survivor theme,
Sur
the oh hey
Survivor
oh
Eye of the
yo yo
Tiger.
hey ah, hey,
The
hey,
band
oh.
who did Eye of the Tiger, and then who did didn't they also do stuff from Rocky 4?
I don't know.
I,
Maybe.
I
I
only
don't know.
know them from Eye of the Tiger. I'm pretty sure that's the only hit they ever had. But but
Well, let's
what a
say
hit it was.
put Eddie Kingston up against some Russian dude, build him up for like 3 months, and it'd be like, yo, partner, then training montage, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
The sleepiness is starting to show.
It's spooky season.
The point is, I believe in the combination of Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. I think that's got a lot of promise to it.
Well, I was thinking it's like you guys are talking about like having his match with Hook. I personally feel like they should have actually had a back and forth between Full Gear and now, because I just feel like that's kind of like it's like okay, I he goes against Hook for it's like oh I was your friend and you sure not you just pretending all along to oh it's all Joe's fault. It's basically jumping right onto the head of the totem pole in that aspect. He faced Shibata, he skips over Hook and just goes right to Joe, who is the champion. I just it's not the best storytelling aspects in that one because it's just like okay you lose to the top guy you beat the third wheel oh shit and then there's Powerhouse Hobbs shit man the Hobbs is just too it's like oh god um I guess yeah I guess give him something to do and then he loses. And instead of Danielson training him, I just want to see it. It's like I could just see him just feeling all alone, and then you have the what are they called? The Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, the col
Conglomer
collaboration,
the
the con
conglomeration.
the
Eddie Kingston
conglomeration.
joins the conglomeration. That would be a comedy of errors.
That's like I don't know. I see something like that even pretty much have the fuck. What are they?
The
Conglomeration.
conglomeration.
The conglomeration, conglomo.
They own you.
Rocco's Modern Life, that Rocco's Modern Life conglomeration, have them be the Dark Order for what they did for Hangman, trying to get him back up. This is the most I've actually talked about Eddie Kingston and his character and storyline. I'm actually kind of surprised at myself with this, but you know what? As I even put it out in the chat, I just did his match. I just was like, sure,
Yeah. It's one
fine.
if you're gonna have him around, give him something to do. And not just be if you're gonna have him lose to Hook, let's get something out of it.
And speaking
Sure.
of and speaking of losing and getting something out of it, of course, we cannot talk about this week in wrestling without also talking about the last Monday Night Raw before John Cena's final match. We got a promo from Gunther saying how yeah, John Cena is the best sports entertainer, but he is the best wrestler in the world. In my mind, this promo is exactly what it needed to be. But it seemed like after that point, there was just a media storm of Cena interview, Cena interview, Cena interview, tribute to John Cena, Cena interview. It seemed like immediately after that promo, in the days ahead, we just got interview after promo after interview after. Where do we even
well,
begin with
well,
this?
don't you know, Jeff? It's a major event. there needs to be a promo tour. And let me tell you something. During this promo, while I'm sitting and watching my group chat, while watching this promo and seeing Tarek typing out, I don't want there to be a promo as there's a promo going on. It's like I know afterwards that he wasn't watching at that point and he didn't know that there was a promo. But I was laughing my ass off and just being like, "Oh, if only you knew." I don't want there to be a promo. He's on the screen doing a promo. But
Yeah,
the
wasn't there a
promo is
brief delay or something at that night?
Oh, it was a brief delay of me watching Raw. That when I started watching, it was already in the opening match with what was it? It was a women's tag match, right?
oh,
That opened
it was
Raw.
the tag title. It was the no, yeah, it was a woman. It was something with the women.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because I remember that, and I'm just watching. I'm like, because I even rewound it a little bit, and they show clips of John Cena. So I'm just like, oh, they must have just had pretty much like a 10-minute opening promo about like video package on John Cena's final week, and then I skipped ahead to whatever the match was that that opened the show, and I'm just like, I even explained it to Pete, where it's like, in my personal opinion. I think it was a mistake. It would be a mistake having Gunther out with the crowd because I don't. I see them basically doing Dominic Mysterio level heat because of how upset people are that he's his final opponent. So it's like I feel like the best thing is just to have this video package with Gunther explaining how he's like on like an interview or something about what he's going to do with Cena. And I was like, okay. And then I pointed that out. I said that to everyone to be like, okay, what are your thoughts? And then Jeff points out, I was like, oh, I actually thought it was a good promo. I'm like, wait, what? So and then I rewinded like, oh, he already had a promo. All right, let me see what he says here. And he didn't let the crowd take over him or anything. He didn't get that nuclear. He had a short, simple, but very effective promo. And he's just like, yeah, he's the best sports entertainer of all time, but he's going against the best wrestler of all time. And I'm going to do to you what you said you're never going to do. But that is give up. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I'm in.
And to Jeff's point, I will say that uh, Cena's final match, they've been treating this like a movie premiere week, where like the stars of the movie go out and they do promos every day, and it's something different every day. You had Chris Van Vliet, you had Joe Rogan, you had you had all these interviews. He's going on Pat McAfee tomorrow. This is taped on Thursday night. He's going on Pat McAfee on Friday. Um, I don't believe that it needed the movie premiere red carpet week uh, turnout. Uh, the promo that Tarek references did scare me a little bit. Makes it seem like Gunther's going to be obsessed with making Cena tap
Yep.
out, and we know in this booking how that normally goes when you're obsessed with something. So I'm not going to put it out there in the universe. I'm not going to say it. I'm just letting you know I'm thinking
Oh, trust
it.
me. When Gunther said that I'm going to bully him, I'm just going, oh, my response was just, oh no, don't use that word because they don't want because this is a family picture. We don't want the bully to win in the end. We don't want the bad guy to be like, I'm gonna bully you into submission. So yeah, that aspect scares me as well. I mean, when we actually do our fun Saturday Night Main Event predictions later in the show, it's not real. My prediction isn't going to change because it doesn't matter in the long run for these predictions. but because these are just follow your heart predictions. But yeah, it is kind of a like, oh, I don't like the sound of this. Now I'm nervous. I want because I don't want basically to have like, oh, it ends with Super Cena standing tall. It's this is but they kind of like are hinting at it. Although I would like it to be like only four have there's only been four people who've submitted John Cena throughout his entire career. I do like the idea of having Gunther be the fifth and final one to do it. So there is that aspect. And with John Cena really pushing, it's like, oh, it's about the future now, be past me. I kind of want him to be that, like, be that typical in your retirement match, you leave on your back type of ordeal. Because really, other than Sting, I don't think anyone ever really has won their final match. At least none that comes to mind.
And that wasn't his choice. It came out. So it's like,
And yeah, that wasn't his choice.
Technically, if you want to be, again, very technical about it, you could say that Ric Flair technically won his last match, his final match anyway.
yeah, he went out on his back WWE style, but we all know that wasn't his final match.
Yeah,
That tag team match he had was non-canon. It never happened.
He went to TNA after, buddy. That was it.
Shut
That
up!
was
It didn't happen. La 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 la. Shawn Michaels never had a tag team match with Triple H versus the Brothers of Destruction. That
Oh
never
my God.
happened.
Oh
I
my
bel
God.
I believe we've all made our points about all this, but and ordinarily I'll be like, okay, I know that before this week, it seems like there's been a lot of discussion, like, okay, he's not really going to remain retired, is he? He's not really going to end his in-ring career. And truth be told, I kind of believe it. And I was kind of on board with this, like, okay, retirement tour, go out on his own terms. But then something happened. This past week of media tours, of interviews,
Oh, here it comes.
and and a particular moment struck me in his otherwise very polished interview with Chris Van Vliet this past week. It was when he got grilled, really grilled by Chris Van Vliet about, okay, so what was the original plan for The Rock and Travis Scott? What was the original plan there? To which he replied, "Oh, who cares? There's no use going back to the past." Like, oh, come, and it's like, oh, come on, we got now. Who cares? It was like, and that's when it happened. That is when the facade of John Cena was made completely bare to me. This is when something flipped, and I saw in every single interview that I have seen before or since,
Charlie, stop rubbing the damn title.
it has been. I know you're anticipating a rant, but come on
I
now.
am.
Ever since that moment, it has been very visible to me. This entire week, it's never been more visible than this. How John Cena is the king of the non-answers. He reflects, he deflects, he pontificates greatly about he instead of answering questions, he'll just extend it into, okay, well, what do you think my best match is? What is your definition of success? Like, buddy, uh, this whole thing just made me truly realize who and what John Cena actually is. Real quick, what was John Cena's first gimmick?
Just a generic.
Prototype.
And there it
Ruthless
is.
aggression.
John Cena
Oh yeah,
was,
prototype.
for all intents and purposes, the prototype.
I don't
The
count before
prototype
his debut.
wrestler. The prototype of the ideal wrestler. And only at the end
Robot.
of his. And he is a machine designed to do only one thing:
Solve mystery.
wrestle, and wrestle good. Now, the prototype is essentially out of beta. Now, John Cena, for the past 20 years, day after day, year after year, decade after decade, in his own self-professed, "Oh, I like structure, I thrive in structure," it is only at the end that he has shown his true colors to their entirety. He does not want to fail. John Cena is a man who is, if you give him purpose, if you give him direction, he will keep on going and he will die for you. And that is exactly what John Cena has done slowly by slowly, day after day, in always wanting to meet someone else's standard, always wanting to grow and learn something new and keep going and keep going and keep going. In my view, after all these years, John Cena has become no longer human, but a machine that it only gives the core not just $1 billion industry, but several billion-dollar industries at this point. He has been increasingly more and more polished in the art of giving the most safe, clean, palatable answers and persona possible to maximize shareholder value, to sell merch. And even in the moments where he confesses, "Oh yeah, I went off script," like when he was handing off a custom interview, a custom
Intro.
intro, thank you, for AJ Styles, which I frankly thought was awesome. What was he reported to do afterwards? He went back and apologized for it because he didn't want to put any higher ups in that position to throw something unexpected their way. And to a certain extent, I understand that, but it's those kinds of moments, in my eyes, those kinds of raw human moments that ultimately mean the most and are most memorable. And for example, what are we talking about? If we were to talk to, if I were to ask you, all of you, what are some of my favorite wrestlers, past and
Outlaw.
present? Nick,
Outlaws. Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. Just shoot out some names. Give me some names.
Tarek's favorite, Eddie Kingston.
Mick Foley, Eddie Kingston. Who else?
Brian Danielson.
Bryan Danielson. After all of these guys, you could make a really strong case. Like we hear all the criticisms all the time. Mick Foley, he's too fat. He's too beard. He's got too few teeth.
It's too weird.
Eddie Kingston, he's too out of shape. His physique's not there. I don't get that. I don't get what the big deal is. Bryan Danielson, he's too small. He is also too beard. Now he's not beard enough. Then he's too concussed. He's too small. What the hell is up? Like these
He
are
was a little too
wrestlers.
concussed.
Well, that is factually true. But the point here is this. When you're trying to get over, there is undeniable beauty in the imperfection. There is perfection in the imperfection. There is beauty in the unbeautiful. It is these kinds of factors that, to me, has always resonated with me and have always allowed me to connect and see something special in these talents. John Cena is the undeniable antithesis of that. He's got the perfect physique, the perfect crafted persona, the perfect character in ring. He is the perfect character. And he has done so for so long, crafted carefully for so long that he no longer strikes me as a real person. There is no John Cena the man. There is only John Cena the character in its obscurity. I find it very ironic that the reason that he even started as the prototype is because he is no longer the prototype anymore. John Cena, at this point in his career, is now a finished product. He is no longer human. He is only moving from one job to the next to appease some billion-dollar master. He has become no longer the prototype, but the archetype of the most pure, safe, marketable product that can ever be produced by multiple billion-dollar industries.
Which
So when
is
I
yeah.
so when I see this, something like this, where time after time, week after week, day after day, source after source, if you're and to be very clear and very fair here, if you're a regular wrestling fan, and if you're a fan of John Cena, if you grew up with John Cena, and you're feeling really down right now, and you're grieving the loss of one of the best to ever do it, I feel for you. I get it. I'm right there with you. But if you're in the industry and you are saying things like John Cena saved wrestling post Chris Benoit scandal. He was the savior of the company. He is the greatest to ever do it. The never seen 17. Buddy, if you need a $1 billion company to call you the greatest of all time, guess what? You ain't the greatest of all time. The amount of verbal fellatio I have heard every which way I look is sickening, is hyperbolic, and as good as John Cena is, it is ultimately undeserved because no single person can ever live up to that much. It has been too excessive and is ultimately making John Cena in his retirement, unless something changes over the next 48 hours, he is probably still going to remain the thing I loathe the most about modern wrestling. With that
Wow.
rant over, say what I've said my piece. What about
And
yours?
it's amusing that you say all that, and I agree with a lot of it. Like the everything over the past couple of weeks that everybody's been saying, everybody, all the wrestlers of the WWE getting on social media and going, "Oh, he's the greatest of all time. Thank you," and all that. It's it's a little bit much, and I get it. And then he'll have these moments in interviews where he can't help himself, and he starts talking about the person that everybody hates the most in this industry. And he's like, "Oh, I love Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is awesome, and he was very good to me." And it's and so the real person jumps out a little bit when it comes to that point, because if you're doing if you're trying to be perfect for the company at this point, you're not talking about Vince McMahon in a good way. You're just not doing it because that's not where the company is at this point. So, on that particular perspective, I will disagree with you. But basically, everything else you said, that that answer to that Travis Scott question was horseshit. I bet that who cares? A lot of people care. We would like to know what fucked up your heel turn because we were all pretty excited about that. Just 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 wanted to let you know, and it kind of went really badly where you had to do a lot of work to get to this point where we're actually excited about your last match again. Because if you had asked me in August if I would have given a shit about John Cena's final match, I would say no. but he had a good last but he had a good last 6 months. We're ending it out great, and I'm back into it. I'm excited for what Saturday's going to bring, but yeah, very corporate in these interviews, and got to be honest, not very well spoken corporately. He goes and he doubles down on a bunch of stuff. Like he's got to repeat it. Joe Rogan, that's a 2 hour podcast. You probably get all the talking points in about 40 minutes. The rest is just rehashing. It's the yeah. I do not understand why they needed to promote this like a movie premiere. It's been like 2 weeks of just nonstop promo. It's like, dude, everybody knows you don't need to do all this promo. It's every day. It's every day, and you're saying the same shit every day, nothing new. So I get it. He he is basically that. That is what he is and what he has been. He's been a corporate machine for probably about the last 5 years, ever since he went into the movies. Ever since he went into the movie business, he saw how it was done over there, and he bought that back to his home company, and he's been the company man. So we should expect this. I mean, like what you're saying is not new information. It's
But
just it's just it's been building up. I feel like it's been building up in you for a long time, and now that the end is finally here, you let it out. But I mean, like I've been seeing this for 5 years.
and just to be clear, I feel like it really hasn't been building up in me. Just the way that this past week in media and interviews has been executed by him. This is just something that's jumped out to me, and it's just never been more visible. Because again, a lot of times when, generally speaking, John Cena is very well spoken, very well mannered. It's not like he has not worked hard. It's not like he has not put in an extraordinary amount of effort and has grown as a performer, but just it's that level, it's just that aspect that has just really gotten to me. And I know for a fact that not everyone is going to share my viewpoint, which again is why I wanted to talk to you, Scholar Charlie, because
Uh-huh.
I know that you and I have definitely disagreed on some of these promos and interviews, particularly the Chris Van Vliet interview
That's the only
with,
one I've watched, to be honest.
yeah, and I know you've
And
said
apparently, from
this,
what I'm hearing, that's the only one I needed to watch because he would
but
repeated the
again,
same stuff.
the one thing I don't want to do is just like I want to hear because I want to hear from an alternative perspective. Because it seems like you really got a lot out of that interview, and I'd like to know honestly what you think. No judgment, no nothing. I want to hear a perspective different than my own.
No, I think the most what I got out of it was when he was saying a word for each of the opponents that they brought up. Not only was he praising Vince McMahon, he praised Brock Lesnar to very high praise, which I thought was criminal. But if you want to say he's a once in a genre wrestler, then go ahead and say it. You're John Cena. You're gonna get away with no matter what you say about anybody. So, uh, I liked what he had to say about AJ Styles and of course CM Punk. I don't know. I guess I saw the interview differently than you did because again only watched that one interview. So I didn't know it was the same hoopla over and over again on every interview that he did that week.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's not necessarily the same answers. It's the same style of John Cena speaking. That it just seems again, it's just the way it came across in my opinion. I do absolutely agree that he was really super complimentary about. I like that he was very super complimentary about AJ Styles in particular. Just say, sort of giving me that indication. Yeah, it's not just about nothing but the WWE style, nothing but this style, but that talent can be cultivated from anywhere. And it can also be considered to be just as good, if not better, than the people who many consider to be the greatest of all time. I think it was really just a notion like that, that, okay, you've got very influential figures, you've got huge corporations. Again, if you need a $1 billion industry, let alone two, telling you that you're the greatest of all time, you ain't the greatest of all time. But again, it was just that with the way I work, it's just like if something is just like really off like that, that will derail my entire train of thought. But
That's fair.
out of everyone who really enjoyed what John Cena brought to the table, and he did bring some plenty of good things to the table. If someone's got a different perspective than I do, I want to hear it all.
I was always a Randy Orton guy. If you asked me years ago who would be the one to break Ric Flair's record, John Cena or Randy Orton, I would have told you Randy Orton. And if it was up to me, he'd be the 18. But his back is his neck and back and whatever else aren't holding on for that long. And you won't see an 18-time champion out of Randy Orton.
Nor what I particularly want to at this point. I don't think that the next 18-time world champion has even been born yet.
Yeah, the deal
Again, I could be wrong. Could very well be wrong.
the deal with John Cena to me is he did not work for me in the PG era. His character did not work. Super Cena worked when he was facing guys like JBL and Umaga in those strap matches, in those I Quit matches, where it's like you see his face is covered in blood, and he ramps up and becomes Super Cena and does his Super Cena stick, and I'm into it because it feels like he earned being able to do that, turn into Super Cena because he got fucked up the entire match.
Yeah.
So it's like that's when it worked for me. When they went PG and you couldn't do any of that
Does
stuff.
somebody need to check on Tarek?
I
Go.
I honestly, I'm letting you guys go because
and
I haven't
and
seen these interviews, so I really can't put my 2 cents in
well,
on
it's
this.
well, we're in the Cena retrospective part now. So, but it's
Well,
like
I haven't
Cena's
spoken
character.
since then. I just, in
Yeah,
that ends, when it came to the interviews, I didn't have anything to point to add because I didn't see them. I wasn't planning on seeing them because, in all honesty, I like John Cena, and now transitioning to the retrospective on how I look at his career in the long run, I honestly don't care.
Oh, wow.
He like he never really gave me that impact of like, oh, I just am flowing to interest on what he brings to the table. It's more on just who he faces, really. It's just, and in the long run, I look back on his career and it's build someone up, then have him lose to John Cena. That's the real retrospective I've seen in his career. And I look at it like, oh, he's a 17-time world champion. I look back on some of his world title wins and they barely last a week, barely last a month. So it's just at this point it's just trying to add on the numbers. And again, it just left little to no impact for me. I remember like he was one of the big reasons where when WWE was in such a low point, he was the face of it because it was I've always said when I've watched wrestling, I like that being ensemble pieces with like some main characters. I don't like a show where it's just one main character and background characters that you're basically building up to just feed to the star. So looking at now where he's at for his final year and all that, he's like now looking towards the future and like the future and all the stars that are gonna come after me. I've kind of just moved past it. I'm now more interested in the John Cena who is making movies, who is being in these TV shows. I'm more invested in that John Cena than I ever been with John Cena the wrestler.
Hmm.
Because he does have that charisma. He does have that aspect. But it's just the what he's given that is what it really matters, what actually draws me in to be like, oh, I want to be like Charlie and buy a spinner belt, even though you're buying that just for CM Punk to sign it, which is still just fucking hilarious. Um, uh, I keep looking at, yeah, I keep looking like, oh, okay, what's the story of John Cena's wrestling arcs? And it's really kind of the same thing. Either face the monster or face like the underling who is like the main eventer where you're like trying to insult him and he just basically talked down on what you're throwing at him because it's just like okay, it's like at CM Punk says, you are now the dynasty, you are the New York Yankees, so and so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like at that point you build him up so much where yeah, he is the superhero. It takes any joy you have to see his matches because most of the time the outcome is he either wins or there is outside interference when he loses, and that happens a lot. Actually, I try and look back. I don't think they're like. I think the only real time I actually see John Cena actually losing clean was against uh Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam when Randy Orton cashed in on him.
Probably because they
Um,
knew that he was getting cashed in on.
yeah, exactly. And then I look back on like the Nexus storyline where you have these up and comers and John Cena's like, okay, I'll just I have all this shit thrown at me and I still win and I celebrate as if not I didn't go through a 20-minute match. So all I look at when I see John Cena, the character, the wrestler character, as I said in this, I just don't care. I'm glad he's had such a great time. I'm glad he's inspired so much. I love how much he's done for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. But I am now past the point where I am already moved on from what John Cena has to offer, and I'm just looking forward to him tapping out to Gunther. At least that's how I want to see the final end of this John Cena character.
And
And it's like as I said, the Super Cena only worked in the 2 years that it was done between 2005 and 2007 when he wasn't really the thugonomics character anymore. He was moving into the hustle, loyalty, respect character, but he wasn't quite there yet. They didn't fully lean into that until it went PG. But in that time period between 2003 and 2007, he might have been my favorite guy in the company because of what because how they were using him and how it worked. The Super Cena worked because he was getting his ass beat before that. He was getting bloodied up, and it looked amazing when he went into Super Cena at that point because it's like he's gushing Great Muta style and he's hitting Super Cena. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. When he's doing it in 2008 in the PG era, and it's just the end of the match, the five moves of doom, and a win. And it's like, okay, he got beat up for like 5 minutes. He doesn't have any marks on him. He was on the ground for a bit. That was when it stopped working, and that's when it started pissing everybody off because it's like, yeah, cool, whatever. It's going to be Jericho versus Cena. Jericho's going to get 10 minutes of offense. Cena's going to get five moves to do him, and it's over. and
And
that's what and that's what it was for about 10 years. Then he went off to do movies. He came back and started losing to people, but the matches were bad. so
like
so it's like so it's one of those catch 22s. He's losing to people, but the matches are bad. So it's like it doesn't matter because it didn't do anything for anybody. So it's like they're trying to push something, which is where I go back to Jeff's rant, where it's like they're trying to push something that isn't real. We all went through those years. You're always saying he's the best of all time because he's got the most title reigns. That's it. That's the only reason you have that. Nothing else is real.
And on that note, Tarek, you already were leading into this. I guess the final scholar's quick talk for the evening. We've talked a lot about where his legacy is probably going to go, how John Cena will most likely be remembered. But ultimately, the big question of the weekend as it approaches is what is your prediction for what is going to be happening at Saturday night's main event? Tarek, you've already said it. You've already cast your vote that Gunther is going to make John Cena tap out. I don't know if Gunther is going to make John Cena tap out or give up. I do think he's going to win, though. And I think he should win. Gunther should defeat John Cena in whatever manner. How about you guys? What do you think? What's the result of the match going to be?
I've got Gunther winning, but John Cena's not going to quit. He's going to pass out. Because it's I don't trust it based off of how they did that promo, but I'm not going to be the one to put it out in the universe. I'm going to say that Gunther's going to make him want to quit. John Cena's not going to make that happen. He's going to pass out in whatever hold that Gunther puts him in.
And Charlie, how about you? How's the match going to end?
I also don't want to put that out in the universe. But we all know what happens when obsession takes over. You'll get the worst of you. I pray and hope that it doesn't happen. I could see this match going either way at this point. Uh, but I'm gonna go along with you guys and say that he passes out. He doesn't tap out.
and I just it just makes like it I hope that's not the case because I'm just they have the passing out part of that like putting like Gunther putting in the submission hold and having them pass out. I've seen so much of that. I just feel like actually getting him to tap out would be so much better for him. And the idea of of him passing out or the idea of Cena just flat out winning his final match is just another emphasis on John Cena taking something of in WWE that I like and just kind of like knocks it down a few pegs. I mean, all like I said earlier, this thing with the Nexus. I love that Nexus storyline, that Nexus debut. I bought a Nexus T-shirt the next day because I was so invested on what they were doing and I love what they did with him. And then you have the SummerSlam match, and John Cena ends up beating like four of them. You have Rusev, and where he is he's this dominant force, and it's just another build up to have John Cena beat him. Even actually, I don't know if this is before Nexus or after Nexus. You have the whole idea with Zack Ryder and him, how he was able to make himself a star and get with the Z True Long Island story. And you have me included with a whole bunch of people being invested in what he's doing, where we are chanting, "We want Ryder, we want Ryder." And what do? You have him be best friends with John Cena, and then you basically have make Zack Ryder the catalyst for the Embrace the Hate storyline for John Cena, and it just in the end makes I hate this word. I hate this word, but I'm going to quote Brian Alvarez. It makes Zack Ryder look like a geek. I hate that word. I hate that word. I hate that word, but it's what they did. And it's just once again those aspects of throwing back to what I said, where I just don't care because when I look back on just so many of the things that made me angry at professional wrestling, he was the front and center of it. So I just if he basically is going out doing that again is just one more aspects where okay, goodbye Cena the super wrestler, hello Cena the ambassador, hopefully hello Cena the peacemaker or peace you know
God.
what, yeah,
I'm
You didn't
still
even mean
upset
to
he
do
never. I'm still upset he
that.
never brought that character to the E.
right, but he's a rated R character, of course they're not going to bring that to the
Yeah.
E.
Hmm.
Remember, family picture. But
No more
yeah,
rated R superstars.
it just it just once again was just that final nail in the coffin of just like okay, him now leaving and just being basically ambassadors, basically having him be the successful thing of what Hulk Hogan was, or what they wanted him to be when he did the ambassador contract. At that point, it's like okay, fine. I'm glad to see Cena out of the ring because it's just he is basically the face of when it comes to the wrestling storytelling aspects, not the stuff he did outside. Like I said, Make a Wish. That stuff is great, and I'm super happy that he did that because he's just shows that type of character he is as a person. But just the booking aspect of just he was the face of the Vince McMahon booking that made me hate WWE for such a long time. Now finally it's like okay, all this is just that final nail in the coffin of that aspect of WWE that made me so angry is finally put to rest.
I don't think I could put a much finer point on it than that. 'Cause, at this point, I think we've said all that really needs to be said, all that we really can say until Saturday, and history will happen however it will. But as far as we're concerned, now is the time in the show where we bring it over to you, our fellow fans. What do you make of John Cena? What's his legacy going to be? And what's going to happen on this Saturday? Let us know all across the internet, YouTube comments, Facebook posts, and you can also join us and join in the conversation wherever we are all across the internet. And if you want to get in touch with us and join in the conversation yourself, just click in the link in the description box below and to go to our link tree. That's linktree/scholars of wrestling for all of the relevant social media links and much, much more. And we're going to see you all there. But for now, we're tired. We need to fuel up. It's been a very long night here at Scholars HQ, and we need to be all hands on deck for no matter what you think about John Cena and his legacy, this weekend is going to be history in the making. And you know we're going to be there covering it all and talking about it all because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're
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 welcome.
You're
welcome.
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 Let's watch some history in the making.